Hi, Jerry.
Hi, Laura. Finally made it.
Hi, Tina.
Hi, I made it.
Yes. Hi, Lindsay. Hi, Daisy.
I'm going to put myself on mute in a little bit just because I have no idea how to stop phone calls coming in.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, I don't want to get interrupted.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know that I actually
I
did
tried
that.
figuring it out. I can't figure it.
So yeah, I'm gonna.
Can you guys see me?
Let's see. Daisy, yes, it's you. Hi. Okay, awesome. I'm gonna try and also turn off my do not disturb. So Tina, if you go to your settings,
Yeah.
okay.
I'm afraid if I try that, I'll lose you.
Yay, Laura!
Hi.
Hi.
Oh, look who joined.
Yeah. There's Moses.
Moses is here.
He's on the call. He's in our community too. Okay. So I am going to turn my oven off. Hang on one second.
Okay. Turn off this TV.
Okay, yay. Yay. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
How's
Hi, everybody.
everyone?
Hi.
Good.
Good. Okay, awesome. So,
I hope you know I put out tinted moisturizer on for the first time in like a month and a half. I was like, I should probably do something with this before I sign up.
come on. This is such an accepting group. You don't even know. And if there a lot of people, they don't even turn their video on, so you can always do that too. But I feel like, am I cut off? Like, can you see my whole face?
I can see your whole upper part.
Okay. I have pants on, so don't worry.
Yeah.
Okay, so I
Video court, thanks.
social media told me that there was a Zoom call with an old man who had like a cat like face on, and I want to learn. I want that. Like so one day we're gonna just do like a filter face call, and it'll be awesome.
I'm pretty sure that guy was a lawyer, and it was like in the middle of a hearing, and he couldn't figure out how to get it off.
It was.
He was like, he's like, I'm not a cat. Yeah. I'm here. I'm not a cat though. And he's like, clearly.
The judge was trying to tell him how to take it off. It was hilarious. You got to watch it.
Okay, that's happening.
Yeah.
That is going to be my assignment. That's what part of my growth work tonight.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Thank you everybody for chiming in as always. This is like the highlights of my week. I hope it's bringing you some joy and goodness as well. So if you saw my reminder for today, the topic is what the fuck is self-compassion, right? So just kind of starting back, my vision for this call, what started as an accountability call, has kind of grown into an expansion of my mission. And my mission, as many of you have heard me say, is to start here, connecting within. Because if we have self-compassion here, it's so much easier to give it to others. And that is our closest inner circle. And then it infuses into the community, and then it infuses into the world. And that might sound hokey, but I don't care. That's my goal. That's my mission. That is my dream. And I have taken a small action, that is this, a small action to work on making that happen. And so you are all a part of that, and it really just brings me so much fulfillment. So thank you. So the growth work assignments for last week. The first one was continue doing or start doing the grounding technique, which, let me review, is waking up, placing your feet on the floor, taking a breath and connecting within before our mind goes to all the shenanigans that we're supposed to be doing for the day. Connecting here back to your body and telling yourself and believing it with conviction, today is going to be a great day, or something along those lines. Again, remember, if you know what's ahead for your day is not really exciting for you and brings you some negative feelings, you're going to say something along the lines of, somehow today's going to be great. So that is triggering your mind to look for the good, because remember, we will always look for the bad, because that reminds us of something that happened that created negativity inside of us. So our brain is always scanning to protect us and to remind us, don't forget, like that wasn't good for us. So let's avoid that again. Our brain is always on the scan for negativity. So we have to literally find it in our brain and plant the goodness so that we can find it. We can look for it in the day. So who wants to share their experiences with practicing the grounding technique over the last week?
I will.
Okay, Tina.
I will. I've been doing it, trying it every morning, Courtney. I get up and before I put my feet on the floor and I try to really feel it. I'm having a hard time with that though. I mean, I'm telling myself, but I don't know if I'm truly feeling it the way I should. I think I have a hard time with truly feeling things because of my traumatic things in my life.
Yes.
But I'm doing it, and I'm telling myself this is really going to be a good day, and I need to focus on that, and all the bad stuff, just try to let it slide off me a little bit better than normal. So yeah,
Good.
I've been trying
Good.
every morning.
So that's such a great point. And I want to tell you that it took me years to believe it too. And so it is a conditioning. You're conditioning your brain against what it's already conditioned to believe.
Yeah.
And remember that the trauma is the hardest. And all of us have been through trauma.
Right.
And I'm going to talk a little bit more about trauma and where it is in our brain. But all of us have been through some kind of trauma, and we're all and there's no competition when it comes to trauma, because we all respond differently, because we're all in a different place when it happens. So that's very, very common. And so don't have any shame with that. Like just know that we all can relate to that.
For me, just recognizing it has helped me.
Bingo.
I think I've pushed it, it's made me a hard person, and I've always just not tried to deal with it or recognize it. And I think this is helping me definitely to be like, this can be good. My life can be good for sure.
Yeah. And that's exactly it, is that you're just kind of tearing down that shit pile. That's that you're encased in. We're all encased in different layers of shit.
Right.
And so it's a matter of recognition, acknowledgement, because that is a huge part of it. So I love that you notice that. That in itself is the awareness that we're talking about. So you already don't realize it, but I mean, you said it, and obviously you're talking about it, but that's a part of it. That's a phase in all of this. So yes.
Thank you. Yeah.
Have you seen my charger? Have you?
Okay. Anyone else want to share their experience with the grounding technique in the morning, or in the afternoon, if you found that was a better window of opportunity for you? Okay. All right. So we're moving to the second growth work assignment, which was to detect and identify your emotional vice, which a lot of us is eating, right? emotional eating or emotional spending or emotional drinking or gambling or whatever your vice is, identify that through some kind of log that is also logged with your stress level or your stress trigger. Has anyone gone through any breakthroughs or findings in that, even if you didn't maybe write it down, but maybe something that you noticed mentally throughout? All right, so Daisy is commenting 1 week sober today. Yeah. How about anyone else?
Hey, Courtney, it's Marta.
Hi, Marta.
Can you hear me? Hey.
Yes.
So I have noticed that getting upset makes me crave sugar. And I noticed that midday at work, if I get upset either with a doctor or a patient or a coworker, and I go run and take a sip of water to lunchroom, and there is something sitting on the table that patients brought, I have hard time saying no, and I feel like this is a way of comforting me, like calming me down. If I'm running late, also it's like the medication, which obviously works for a very short period of time because later the guilt comes in. But I also noticed a pattern. I work, as you know, in 2 offices. I have definitely a bigger sweet tooth in one of those offices. So I have been observing also the dynamic. After work, definitely when I'm tired. So it's kind of like a price for getting through the day. So if I crave it after work, that's the main reason. So being tired, that's basically it.
Yeah. Great identifiers. Sucks. We could all say, and that I think those are our prompts, right? That's our prompt. Remember we talked about behavior, human behavior is motivation. So we're motivated to have that sweet treat. And then the ability is right in front of us. And then we're prompted by frustration, being tired, and rewarding ourselves because we survived another day. And Marcia, you've talked about some really great solutions to that. So I think what we'll do is, if you'd like to share your solutions, great. But if you want to just kind of sit with all of that, because that's part of it, is we look for the solution versus where is all of that really coming from? And that's what I want to talk about a little bit more today. So do you want to share anything further on, because that's a lot of great identifiers. Can other people relate to those triggers hitting you every flippin' day?
Absolutely. I'm one that says, but I've been good. So I've been so good all day. So it's like, you've been, it's like, and it's just, it's kind of like a joke, because my mother-in-law does it too. She's like, I had a shake for breakfast and some chicken for lunch. So now I'm going to have wine and dessert because I've been so good all day. And I'm like, it's a you telling yourself it's okay to do it because you've been so good. This is the reward. And I feel like it becomes, when does food become the reward? I feel like it needs to be something beyond that.
Right.
And I think in our brains, like, we, some people live to eat, or do you eat to live?
Right.
Where does that,
Right. Where's your relationship with the food? Where's your relationship with the vice? So that's what we're trying to figure out. So is food your therapy? Is that like, would you, if you had a therapist, would you actually get on a call with your therapist at that point and say, all right, this is how my day went? and I want to drink a glass of wine and I want to eat a bar of chocolate, but instead I'm going to talk to you. So it's about, like, believe it or not, we can do that for ourselves. We're not trained that way. Remember that that's not how we were trained. We talked about it last week, but so okay, self-compassion. That's the topic. And Marta, I kind of asked you a question and then I just kept talking. So I want to come back to you. Do you want to share anything else?
You ask as for solutions. Is that what you were asking? What I
Yes.
found helpful?
Yes.
Well, like if I've noticed that when there's a lot of junk food sitting on the table and lunchroom, I always try to leave my snack somewhere close by, so there is an option, so I can reach for something healthier and maybe satisfy that craving. Sometimes I literally try to make an effort not to go to lunchroom. I leave my bottle of water somewhere else in another cabinet just to stay away, so there's no temptation, so I don't have to fight it. As far as also changing the route from work home, I changed the street. I used to pass by Baskin Robbins, and that actually helped. So yeah, I think these are the little solutions that I've been trying to use.
And how do you feel they've been working for you?
Definitely, I can't even remember when I had ice cream, so that worked great. Leaving my snack works sometimes. It all depends which patient brought what, so I still, the quality, if there is something really yummy, and then I have hard time. But avoiding lunchroom, going there just for during the lunch break where I do have my food, so it's not taking those little breaks and not being tempted. That worked. That definitely worked.
It's great. And that the part that we're going to learn a lot about is mindful eating versus therapy eating, emotional eating.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we kind of need to learn the impact from our past and how it impacts us before we can move forward. So next week, mindful eating. But as far as never having those treats, like, that's stupid. Like, what the hell is there to live for, right? No. But it's a matter of the 80-20 lifestyle where it's like, you know what, Laura, I have eaten really well all day and I planned for a snack, a treat to fit into my day. And you know what? Carolina brought a really great coffee cake. So that is my treat for the day. Like, you are deciding. You're deliberate. You put it all together in your head. It's not like, oh my God, that fucking patient is here again. Give me the coffee cake, and you mange on it for 7 minutes straight. So, like, it's about connecting and just, like, registering. It's like, you know what? I'm actually not hungry. So when I am, I've got that piece of cake just has my name on it. I've eaten clean the last, day, 2 days, whatever. And I totally do deserve a treat. So it's like really connecting with your body, connecting with your mind, making that decision, not allowing emotions to drive you there. Okay, cool. All right. So self-compassion. What is that? Okay. Kindness and caring versus negative judgment. Literally helping ourselves feel as good as possible and recovering from the suffering. And the suffering, we all know, it shows up: anxiety, frustration, irritability, like brain fog. You really can't really compute what's happening. Depression. That's where the suffering is. And it's a matter of loving ourselves through it, versus choosing that vice. Because life has stuff that will always go wrong. We'll never escape the wrong and the bad and the shit and the piles. Like, we're never going to escape that. So we have to learn to manage it. And it really does start with your connection and your relationship with yourself, self-compassion. Because when you feel so dark, like that gray or blackness is just surrounding you, you feel so alone and disconnected. And again, that is why I wanted this to be this, because we all are having the same feelings and the same emotions. And people at work and people at the gym and people in our families, they're all having it too, but nobody's fucking talking about it. And they're not showing it. So then you think, it's just me. They're laughing, they're posting happy pictures. Why is this happening to me? Why me? Why me? Like, that's where our brain goes when we're in the darkness. Why me? I'm such a good person. Why is this happening to me? Not your fault. Not your fault. You were conditioned to be in this life the way that you are. So it's kind of like a human experience that we're all in. We're all just floating about in this earthly world that we call, and yet we feel so alone. And I know that feeling very much, and I still feel it. But I have so fully recognized how quickly I recover now because of learning about self-compassion and doing a shit ton of other things that I'm obviously unloading on all of you. So we all chose the 30 Days to Healthy Living because it's a phenomenal place to start, because we all have learned or have some kind of understanding of that brain-gut connection, right? And it's physical. It's so much easier to start with physical, either going to the gym or putting something in our mouth. Like, we have some kind of control over that. We can see it, we can feel it. Working on this, it's like, what? I don't even know what that is. What is that? Like, my mind is like over there and my body's here. We're so disconnected. So the idea of connecting them, the brain gut connection, because there's a literal what's that railway in Europe that's just like an insane amount of speed? I forget what it's called. It's like a luge of some kind. But so that is what's happening. Okay, it's connected through a hyper pathway faster than most systems in our body. So when there's inflammation here, there's inflammation here. So once we start to reduce inflammation here, it's that much easier to reduce inflammation here. But we don't know how to do that. So that's why I want to help you with what I've learned. So humans, we're born, we're babies. We have no idea what is happening to us. We literally need another being to take care of us, likely a human. We cannot survive without a human taking care of us. We will die. If we are not fed, if our basic needs are not met, we die. So we learn to manipulate our actions to get our needs met. And it happens with crying first. That's our first ability. But then we start to comprehend. Our parents are talking to us. We still don't have the ability to vocalize our feelings and emotions, but we respond in ways of minimal communication. And our parents are providing needs for us. They do the best that they can with what they know and what they've been conditioned with. And then we continue to grow. We learn how to manipulate a little bit more. And our parents laugh at that. They're like, oh, look, telling me no left and right. Look at that one. And they laugh at it because, again, they're repeating what other people around them have reacted with, what their parents reacted with. This is the cycle. So it's very, very rare that what we're feeling is actually acknowledged and then explored by our parents or peers of some kind, because once we get to a certain age, teen years, this is why the teens are so, I mean, age 11 to 20, I don't know how I still have parents, but we turn to our peers as our group to be accepted. So it starts with family. It's like, okay, how do I manipulate to be with the pack? I need to be accepted by the pack because I don't want to feel alone. We don't want to feel alone. We are pack animals. We survive as interpersonal connected humans. Then teenage years, friends, peer group. How do I change myself? How do I change my looks? How do I change how I talk? I need to belong. I need to feel accepted. How do I manipulate to fit in there? And then it continues throughout our lives. How do I manipulate me to fit in? And this is talked about all over every platform ever, it affects everything. So it's that little part. It's that little part. It's like recognizing and acknowledging and exploring what your true feelings are. And then you like recognizing them, exploring them, and acknowledging them, and actually connecting with yourself instead of looking out and wanting response. Okay, so that is where we're told what we need and what we want instead of understanding it ourselves. And so then we wonder why we're tired and unfulfilled and off or moody, or we're feeling not enough. Those are all the responses that I get from everybody in their dark moments. That's how they feel. And I am there. I feel that way, not right now, but with you when that happens. And it's because we're living on autopilot. So autopilot is our subconscious brain, our subconscious living. And the subconscious part of our life is a good thing. We need it. Because if we didn't have it, we would be insanely exhausted, because the subconscious mind, the autopilot, is what is taking place when we do anything, when we brush our teeth. Imagine how flippin' tired you would be if you had to say, lift right hand, put right hand forward, open hand, grip toothbrush, lift toothbrush off counter, hold towards body. I mean, like, imagine how tired you would be. But that is why the pandemic has affected our subconscious living. And that is why we feel so tired from the changes in this last year, because our subconscious living has like what? We have to bring a mask where? We have to hand sanitize when? Like, this has changed our subconscious. It's had to adapt. And so we normally put so much on our subconscious. Just take over, autopilot, do your thing. Oh, and then here's a whole nother slew of shit that I'm gonna lay on you. And I'm just gonna check out and eat this coffee cake. Peace. Like, okay, let's connect here. So the majority of our life is in the autopilot instead of consciously living. So that is where we are connected and aware and awake and making decisions on purpose and actually fulfilling goals throughout the day. That is conscious living, awakened living, living in the moment, living in the present, having mindfulness. Those are all those terms. It means that you're like legit making intentional choices. We don't live there. That's why we feel so disconnected. Mindfulness. So mindfulness is being able to recognize our struggle and allow ourselves to sit with it. Talked about that. Sitting with that shitty feeling. We don't know how to do that. We weren't conditioned to do that. So that feels so, just yucky. I don't want to do that. But if we don't do it, remember, if we don't do it, it's never going to go away. It's just going to continue hanging out our whole life, hanging on our back. And we will just continue to make those autopilot decisions. So that's where our crap feelings and our responses are they're like hardwired into our autopilot. So when we're triggered, we go, okay, brain, just autopilot, please take over. Let's just do what we usually do. What is it? What do we do? Oh yeah, we find food. Oh yeah, we grab a drink. We spend. Target, where's my card? Where's my red card? That is in our autopilot. So it's about connecting this bag of bones and skin back to the bubble in our brain that is our mind and connecting them again. That's where mindfulness comes in. That's where self-compassion kicks in, when we sit in that moment and we literally, like, if we're talking to a friend about a bad day, what do we want them to do? We want them to listen to us, to maybe like do a little like arm rub or even a hug and empathize. That we don't want to hear solutions, like just let me vent. So we can do that to ourselves. And it does take practice, and that is mindfulness. And that is, it might feel very lonely, but if you just do it a couple of times, and there's lots of ways to do it, but the first way to do it is recognizing it and literally just just connecting to you again, because we've been apart for so long. So it's friending yourself, like friend request, Courtney Beth, do you want to be friends with me? Accept, yes, yes. Friends. And like, that sounds crazy. Again, crazy people probably are very happy, but it can look like that in your brain. It can look like that in your brain. Okay. So self-compassion kicks in that moment. Caring, supporting what you really need, which sometimes is really hard to figure out. Like, I know when I finally started talking to somebody, my therapist, who I can totally give the number to anybody. I give her number out all the time. She is phenomenal. She does virtual meetings. Her name is Donna. She's a blessing in my life. And I don't use that word a lot because I just feel like it's such a special word. She's a fucking blessing in my life. And I tell her that, Donna, you're a fucking blessing in my life. And she's like, you deserve it. And that's where I got, you deserve it. Because she told me that. That's why I tell people that, because we do fucking deserve it. Yes. Friend request, love, compassion. So yeah, I would say I would walk in, I'm like, I have no idea why I'm so upset. I have no idea. It's hanging over me. I feel it. I don't know where it's coming from. Like, we don't know. I mean, sometimes we know, but how do we break that down? It's such a big deal. It's so overwhelming. So what do we do? Even if we don't know what is wrong, listening to ourselves, and not vomiting solutions on us, is really the first step. We can do this for ourselves, but typically we skip right over that self-compassion and we go to, okay, what caused this? What caused this? Was it because I ate sugar this morning or 3 days ago, or I didn't sleep very well? Or, I mean, somebody called in the middle of the night. Who was that? Oh yeah, my dad. Oh, like we look for the problem. We look for what triggered it, which is not a bad thing. Again, it's not a bad thing to look for that. But did we have any self-compassion? Did we have that moment of like connecting and loving? Did we? No, not usually. It's just boop, skip, and then pattern repeats. That's why I started with behavior equation, so that we have at least some tool to have an idea of where to fix if we can. So we've been hardwired to go straight to problem solutions. And that's also why the morning grounding technique connects us back to making intentional decisions first thing in the day. So it's that small little practice that starts to build and turn this on. So at least one time throughout the day, we were mindful and we made that choice to put our feet down and connect within and tell ourselves, today's going to be great somehow. I don't know how, but I'm going to look for the good. I'm going to do it because I want to change and I have the power. I have no idea how I'm going to do it. No fucking clue, but I'm part of this really cool community and we are all suffering and we all are making decisions to feel better. So I keep showing up and I'm committed to feeling better. Okay. Because you deserve it. Okay. So it's what we put in our minds, what we put in our bodies, what we put in our mouths affects every single aspect of our life. Every single choice. Everything. So I want to feature one of our clients, or my clients, one of our community members. This specific person, I noticed a very unique difference for her. She started with intention. She worked more in the conscious living and off of autopilot more than on it. And it's just made such a connection for me. And I would love, Lindsay, for you to talk a little bit more about how that developed for you. How did you come from a mindset that you have and how it's affected your journey on 30 Days to Healthy Living?
You know, that is the main thing that for like this round of like dieting or whatever you want to call it was different for me. I think I tried every single diet under the sun, you name it, and I had done it. And, but like you said, what was different is my mindset this time. And there was a lot of work that was done before I started the 30 days. So for those of you that don't know, I work with Pampered Chef, and one thing that is totally different about being in a direct sales position than any corporate job that I ever had was they really focus on personal growth and development. When I was in the corporate world, I was in banking, and they would always talk about building the bench and developing different skills, but it was never necessarily about your personal growth and development. So that's something that Pampered Chef has really pushed for us. And what that means is like the saying, leaders are readers. And so reading more books and focusing on yourself and just really making yourself be the best that you can be. And when you mentioned like the morning routine, that is something that I have over time been able to build that is now, it just nothing the time may shift a little bit for my morning routine, but nothing can break it. Like, it is set pretty much in stone, except for these days it's been super cold, and part of it is walking outside, and we haven't been doing that because it's so cold. We have been walking outside just in the afternoon, not in the morning. But one of the things that I was introduced to through one of my directors with Pampered Chef is this gentleman called Hal Elrod. He wrote a book called Miracle Morning. You may have heard about it. The gist of the story is basically that he was a speaker. He had just given a big presentation and was driving home and was in a terrible car accident where they told him he would never walk again. And so he said that he would, and he started telling his mind that he would, and all the positive things, right? And so the first thing that I feel like I learned by reading that book was that your brain will believe anything you tell it to. So if we are in this negative cycle of I'm not worthy, I'm not deserving, they're not going to like me anyway, I'm all of these terrible things. Yeah, you are, because you're going to believe those things. But if you also do the opposite and tell yourself the good things, that I am worthy and I am good and I do deserve it all, then you're going to start to believe that. And things then that you're putting out into the world just kind of tend to come back and start really working for you. And so what I adopted from the book is this practice that's called savers. And so what he recommends is getting up an hour earlier in your day. I know that sounds crazy, but it really does make a big difference. And then that hour is broken up into different activities during the 60 minutes. So like the first 5 minutes, you would sit in silence. So a lot of people do meditating. For me, I really just sit in silence and try to focus on my breathing and just like clear my mind and clear my body and, just let the day start and kind of tell myself it's going to be a good day, a lot like your grounding technique that you've been talking about the past couple weeks. And then after the S for silence is A for affirmations. So I've got a little book that I have 5 different affirmations that I write each day. A lot of the times they pertain to my business. So, like right now I'm going for a promotion. So I am a senior director. I am happy because I haven't always been happy. I am healthy because I haven't always been healthy. I'm trying to think of what my other 2 are. One I know is I'm a booking magnet, so that the parties for my business continue to come. And then I'm trying to think, I can't remember what the last one is. It's not that important, but I write those 5 things over and over again. And that's another 5 minutes on the timer. Okay. And so you're just reinforcing it, not only by, reading it right as you're writing it, but you're writing it down. So the pen to paper just really helps to reinforce whatever those affirmations are. I'm a crazy affirmation person too. So I'll just take this opportunity to plug 2 different apps that I use. One's called Spirit Junkie and one's called I Am. And you can set up different reminders throughout the day where they will send you affirmations. And so I just actually got one before I started speaking here. And so again, it kind of brings your mind back to the mindfulness and being aware of why you're doing what you're doing. Daisy, it's called I Am is one of them. And it's like a green square. And I think it says I am in white. And
I love that one.
Yeah. And then the other one is Spirit Junkie, which is tied to, I always forget her name. Gabrielle Bernstein, I think is her name.
Yeah.
And that one's called Spirit Junkie. So you're welcome. And then another thing too, just as far as affirmations go, we all have to have 1 million passwords for everything that we do. So use an affirmation for one of your passwords. That way, every time that day that you're typing your password, you're reinforcing that, positive statement to yourself.
Cool.
So that's your second 5 minutes is the affirmations. And then let's see, savers. So V is next and is visualization. You can kind of take this however you feel like it would apply to your life. So one way would be to visualize what success looks like. So what does that feel like? Where will you be? What do you hear? So you're kind of like closing your eyes and being silent to the world and letting your body feel what like that success feels like. Or what I've started doing here in the last 2 months is I visualize my entire day. I have my calendar in front of me and I look through everything that I have and think, and feel everything I'm going to do that day, even like driving, wherever I'm driving, I'm going to get there safe. I'm going to have my seatbelt on. It's, just all of the things. And it has just really changed how my days have been. They've been so much more positive. So that's the visualization. That's another 5 minutes. And then after that is exercise. And he recommends exercising for at least 20 minutes a day. It gets all the good stuff in your brain flowing. I can't remember if that's serotonin or what the good stuff is.
All of it.
But yes, it gets all the good stuff flowing and it's just a really great way to start your day. And so you'll do that for 20 minutes. And then the R is reading. So you'll read for 20 minutes. And then the last S is scribing. So scribing is the one thing that I really struggled with because I felt like I needed to be some magnificent writer and have these awesome journal entries. Well, that's like not the purpose of it. You know, it can just be a brain dump of anything that's on your mind. That I don't know about you guys, but I've got that inner voice that never stops talking. So sometimes it's just writing down whatever she's telling me that day. But so then that would complete your hour. And I've been doing that now consistently going on a year. And it just has really made the whole approach to the 30 days so much easier for me, because what I've come to realize is that being more, what do I want to say, present, but like not on autopilot, you're making promises to yourself, and you deserve those promises. You deserve to eat the healthy things, and you deserve, for me, I'm going through this to be healthy. I'm going to be 40 this year, and I want to get my body mass index where it needs to be healthy. I haven't been there since I was in my teens. So it's been quite the journey, but it is like, I deserve that. And it's okay for me to make those promises and then keep them to myself. You know, these past few days, I'm in St. Louis and it's been really cold and we haven't been doing our walk in the morning. And when I say we, I have 3 Australian Shepherds that you guys probably see come in and out of my screen here. But so we walk in the morning. And I've missed that walk these mornings that it's been so cold. My day has just seemed a little off. I mean, still good and positive, but just something was missing. And so even in the afternoons now, when I get home and the sidewalks are still packed with snow, which is so much like walking in sand that my calves are like on fire, but I get the walk in because it makes me feel so good. You know, once it's accomplished, it's like one thing that you're checking off the list. So I'm trying to remember what else, Court, you wanted me to kind of be sure to mention, but it really just is the mindset. And then through the whole process, I think I started my first 90 days in March of last year, and I've been able to lose over 50 pounds, which has been amazing, but it is about the progress and not the perfection. None of us are perfect, and we're never going to be perfect. And it is not ideal to ever think that you're never going to drink that glass of wine or never eat that piece of chocolate ever again. That was always the lie that I was telling myself is, you know, I couldn't start. I don't know how many times did I tell you, Courtney, no, I can't start because there's a Dave Matthews concert. That's how I know Courtney. We met by going to Dave Matthews shows. And so once COVID hit and everything was canceled, it was the perfect opportunity. And then that, along with where my mindset had already gotten to, was just, I mean, the perfect recipe that worked for me. And now I know what worked for me isn't necessarily going to work for you, but I hope that you can at least find some value in some of the things that I've shared with you guys tonight. And that, I mean, you do deserve it, and you owe it to yourself to treat yourself that way. We always want to give so much to everybody else, and we forget about ourselves, and that's really what needs to come first. So
yes. Wow. Awesome. So when did you start developing your mindset?
gosh, I mean, I've been with Pampered Chef since September of 2017, but really like honing in on it, I would say August of 2019. And then getting really consistent with the Miracle Morning stuff since like December of 19, January of 20, where I was really making sure that it was getting done every day. And it doesn't always look the same. I mean, there are some days that you need more of the things than the others. So I'm a believer in like just taking an action is positive. So not to beat yourself up if the whole hour, I mean, because some of us already get up at 5 a.m. So that means you're going to be getting up at 4 a.m., you know, but making it work for you. So.
And would you say that, I mean, you're human, so I know that you still have those inner voices that are spewing out negativity to you. How do you feel that your dedication to your mindset has impacted listening to those voices?
Well, I can definitely navigate that better now. I know what the triggers are. I know the things that they're going to say. And it's just also a new experience because through all of this, I've kind of quit drinking and not kind of, I mean, I did quit drinking. And I'm realizing that I was using different things to identify myself, that I really am not that person. It was like a mask that I was kind of hiding behind. I don't even know if this is answering your question. I feel like I'm kind of on a tangent, but
No.
I feel like I was wearing like many different masks because I really didn't know who I was. And so it was just easier to grasp on to, you know, a band or Bud Light or whatever it was and hide behind that. And
Well, and that speaks to our peers putting their beliefs on us and how we want to belong. So we will adapt and manipulate so that we do fit in the pack.
right.
And then it's like, wait, but am I really that? Is that who I really am? And like,
Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
well, and like the 30 days, you don't really know until you remove it for a period of time and you're like, oh, that I don't connect with that. That's weird. I wouldn't have known if I didn't remove it for a period of time and actually listen to my body and listen to my mind. So yeah, that's impactful.
And I think that the most surprising thing of all for me going through all of this is some of the lack of friend support. The people that feel uncomfortable because I'm making changes. Change is still scary, and it's scary to everyone, no matter how close they are to that change occurring. And so that has been an interesting struggle. And then, I mean, I'm midway through this journey basically, and just the way that I still see myself, like I still see myself as that girl that has the 50 pounds on. I don't see I see the progress, but there are times where like I'll be scrolling Facebook and see a picture and it was like, don't even recognize myself. So some interesting obstacles have come up through the journey as well. So, I mean, it keeps it interesting.
And that speaks to life will always have negativity to show us. And with every solution, there's a new problem. It's just a matter of what you want to put your energy into and work through or not. And you get to make that decision with intention. And I know that you are working through it with intention.
Yeah.
So it's amazing.
And I think that's the whole key is intention. So just to be intentional with everything, if you're going to choose the treat, that's okay. Don't then beat yourself up. We're all going to choose the treat at some point in time, but it is just being intentional or thinking about your day, planning out what your breakfast and your lunch is going to be. If like Valentine's Day is coming up, right? So people might want to be doing something better for dinner. So, but it's just being intentional with all of it and being intentional with the people that you're around too, because all of that affects the mindset, even down to social media. I feel like social media is getting a bit better now, but I mean, there through 2020 with COVID and then with the election, that was just a train wreck. I mean, anybody could lose their mind scrolling on Facebook. And so, set like healthy boundaries in place where you're only going to check Facebook or whatever, fill in the blank social media. At this point in the day, I'm going to set a timer for 10 minutes and then be done with it because it really truly does affect your day and your outlook. So.
Agreed. 100%. It's like having an intention with going on to Facebook. It's like, okay, who do I really want to connect with? Because you're going to get distracted. It happens, but it's like, oh wait, what did I come on here for? Oh yeah, I have 3 friends that I am going to connect with. That was my intention. Let me do that and then get off. So it's setting boundaries and respecting your time. Do you have time for that? Like,
right.
What is that?
And as far as like reading more books, like just turn off the TV. I mean, there's nothing as good on TV as in some of these books that I'm reading. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Same.
So.
Same.
Well, thank you very much for having me speak.
Thank
like
you.
I said, my whole goal is to just add value to people's lives. And then because of what I do with Pampered Chef, if you guys don't follow me or we aren't friends on Facebook, I invite you to send me a request. I do live cooking videos every Monday night, and 9 times out of 10, it is something that fits into the 30 days. So it's all good new ideas that you guys can use in your own kitchen. And it never takes longer than 30 minutes to prepare. So it's always fast. So thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Lindsay. Thank you for sharing your journey for the last few years, because it takes time. It's a dedication, and if you want to feel better, you've got to take a small action. That's why we started with understanding what a small action is. That grounding technique is super small. And like we talked about last week, it's just as easy not to do as it is to do. It's just as easy. So it's your decision. It's your intention. Okay. Growth work assignments for next week. Set a reminder on your phone 2 times a day to check in with yourself. Are you on autopilot? Are you in a mindful mindset? Are you anxious? Are you angry? Start connecting with what's happening up here. And it can be those small little moments that we're like, oh, geez, how long has my face been like this? And like grinding my teeth. Oh, okay. So, okay. Thank you, reminder phone, for reminding me. And then at that moment, you're going to turn off autopilot. Ready? Turn off autopilot. It's literally this easy. You take a deep breath through your belly. So everybody put their hand on their chest and your other hand on your belly. And you take a deep breath and you feel your belly hand raise. So, and then you hold it for a couple of seconds and then you let it out really long. So 2 things, belly breath and a long exhale literally turns off your autopilot and brings you to your body, connects your mind to your body. And then you just practiced conscious living. Super small. It can start with twice a day. Reminder, it could be your I Am app. Everybody, it's so good. I get excited when I hear the little ring, ring. I'm like, oh, what is it? Where's my phone? Just kidding. It's always in my hand. Just kidding. But then I'm like, oh, I am worthy. Yes, I am worthy. Okay, deep breath. Long exhale. It doesn't have to be perfect, like 4 seconds in, 4 seconds hold, 6 seconds out. But as long as your exhale is longer than your inhale, which just be intentional, turning off your autopilot, turning on your conscious living, turning on your mindfulness, connecting your body and your brain and your mind. Easy, small step. And that's it. That's my recommendation. I think that if you want to start incorporating one of the savers, because I also do the savers, I don't do them all at the same time. I have them at different times throughout my day. But again, it's silence or meditation, affirmations, visualization, exercise, reading, and scribing or journaling or writing. So every single one of those moves connects your brain to your body again. That is a connecting moment where, again, you can be intentional, mindful, deliberate, conscious, awake, all those ways to heal the suffering that we all have. Okay. Thank you. This was wonderful. I hope you all, again, got something awesome out of it. I appreciate that you're there to hear what Lindsay and I had to offer today. Lindsay, you're a huge leader. I look up to you. I'm so happy that we're friends and that we've become so close with our journey on, it started with Dave Matthews and then it continued with 30 Days to Healthy Living. And now we're just like buds and we talk every week and it's fucking awesome. So thanks.
I'm friending requesting Lindsay because I want to watch her cooking.
Oh yes.
I need those 30-minute meals in my life for sure. Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yay.
Okay, good. All right. Anybody else need anything from us?
No, I'm good. Thank you guys so much.
All right. Thanks for dedicating and devoting some love to yourself.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
Have a good
Self-compassion. Self-compassion, everybody.
Hugs.
Hugs. Okay.
Bye.
Enjoy the night. Bye.
You guys too.